Hey, what's up? So here we go. Today I'm going to explain why Nikola Tesla, um, how he formed his ideals and beliefs, and how he was able to come up with many of the concepts that we now use today. And at the same time, I'm going to talk about Albert Einstein, and I'm going to show everybody how they are pretty much related, I guess you could say. The theory of relativity. So Tesla and Einstein related. Okay, so Nikola Tesla. Here we go. Nikola Tesla believed that there was a force, an energy, all around us that could sustain everything, that could also be used to communicate between people, send messages, whatever, all over the world. His idea was that his concepts and many of his ideals came from deep-seated exposure to religion. He was highly exposed to Christianity, and from this, simple things like the Bible's God is omnipresent, God is everywhere, God is infinite, God is love, all these things. So he took these really, really plain and on the surface ideals, and he experimented, and he solved for some of them. He used what was known academically at the time as being scientifically known, and wow, energy is everywhere. And he observed. A lot of what he did was he shut his mouth and he just observed. Tesla creatively, in his mind, and critically thought about these concepts. And from that, he developed ways in which to manipulate energy, distribute energy, utilize energy for the progression of humankind. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein it is very clear that he had no personal God. And, even though Tesla had his agoraphobias and Einstein was mildly autistic, those were probably two of the factors that helped them be the, scientific and, savants that they were, is these factors. Their differences were also what kept them in common. So normal is just a dysfunction and a perversion of, everything is different. So Einstein knew Tesla, and he came up with E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. It's actually a riddle, and I know this because I think the same way. I think in numbers. I was born with several gifts, and one of them is I'll randomly pop off with something and it'll happen. And, later in the day or later down the road in a couple years. And at the same time, I was born with an innate ability for math. I speak math. I speak the universal language, and I'm very, very good at it. And a lot of mathematicians don't even know what they're doing because they're trying to organize it into a process, a scientific process, which is a lot of time perverted by human ways of thinking because of value systems and organizations and stuff like that. But the thing is, when you truly understand these concepts and you speak math, you can, it's plain as day. E equals mc squares talks to me. It's what E equals mc squared is this. It's Einstein's way, because Einstein, thought mathematically. So what he did was he took what Tesla was doing and he thought about it. And he tried to quantify it and explain it in terms of math. So you have Tesla generating power or drawing energy from energy that exists and making it into a manifestation of which man can see, which we know as energy, or many people call energy, and such as electricity. And what Einstein did is he took the whole premises of Tesla's work and what Tesla was doing, and instead of Tesla expressing it from his perspective with his religious influence, Einstein reflected those same concepts with his non-religious mathematical concepts. E equals mc squared is really, it's scientists try and solve for it, and they use it, and it works, but it's not 100% accurate. I know this because I know math and I know the language of math. So it's Einstein electricity, okay? It's relative. Everything has a duality. Think about the human genome and how babies are made. X and Y chromosomes, and you've got duality in math, which is X is less than or equal to Y. Well, what is the significance of those symbols? But also, Y is less, more or less. So, mathematically, if you take that, you can see the duality in all things in the universe. And you can abstractly and scientifically and mathematically accurately forecast, prevent future events. You can do a lot of things. And you can do them quite well. Einstein took Tesla's work and quantified it. Energy equals mass because everything has mass. So mass times the speed of light, not light itself, not light as a property, but the concept of the speed of it times mass equals energy. It's really quite simple and ingenious because he explained in simple terms what most people think is unexplainable. That is the beauty of it. The speed of light. Well, speed of light's not even really a thing. It's a speed. It's a speed. The speed. Not, I have light right at pretend my fingertip is light. Alright? Well, your observation of it would be the speed of light. But it's not there. You don't see the speed of light. It is neither there nor anywhere else, but it is an actual calculable speed. And it just happens to be the speed of everything that's observable, which is light. So if you take that, if you take what isn't observable and you try to make it observable, what are you doing? Well, if you take the speed of light and you're trying to make it into an observable thing, well, then you turn it into a cube. E equals mc squared, ice cube. If you take the speed of light and you could manifest it into a physical 3D thing, then it would be cubed. So you take a physical cube and you multiply it times, which has no mass, times the mass of something, you have energy. It is really quite simple, and nobody really explains it that way. It's just like public schools. They give you information and they just tell you what they want you to tell, what you want to be told, which that was a total. Alright, they tell you what they want you to know for what they think you will be able to use. What they don't tell you is that the understanding of the processes and how people came up with the actual formulas are what actually propel technology. You can take microprocessors, can be so much faster, so much smaller. A reason a lot of the original smartphones had issues is because of heat. That's it. You know, processors got too hot, and when you have heat, it means you have more resistance, and more resistance means things don't work right. So it's very simple. I can create some very, very interesting technologies, but you know, I work a low-wage job, and I don't have access to facilities and materials. But if I did, there's very few things I couldn't do, and I know that, and I'm humble about it. And there's things I wouldn't do because people are ignorant. For one, most people are ignorant. Just honest to God, people are ignorant, because ignorance is a judgment based on a preference. So when you pull into a drive-through and you pick a number 1 over a number 2, it's your preference, or it's what you're selecting at that time. It's a judgment. Yeah, there is judgment in the universe. There is opinion. But the universe, judgment is limited to living organic things. Because the sun don't care. The universe doesn't care. It doesn't care. If it cared, why would an asteroid hit? Why would this happen? Why would a volcano erupt? The universe and universal laws, the only laws that really matter, don't care. They don't care. They work, and they continue to work because they're perpetual. And because they're perpetual, they will continue doing what they're doing whether or not you want them to. And if you understand them and you know them, you can use perpetual systems to help facilitate what you want. And I think that, yeah, I'll leave it at that, because that can be a really deep conceptual thought that, wow, if this guy really knows what he really knows, then what is he capable of? Nothing. I have a deep-seated love for living things, all living things. And I would never intentionally oppress a living thing other than to set it free. But that is a very deep, that is easier, that is more difficult to explain than how the universe works and how it, regenerates, and, living things have their own complexes, and their complexes are very complex, but I can explain them. I can explain free will, I can tell you what it is, and I can explain to you why it affects our lives on an individual and group level. So anyways, yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm just dropping it. Knowledge nuggets, knowledge bombs. Just so, love you. Later.